have Katy Iengo here. She is a wonderful hypnobirthing doula and educator in northern Colorado. And she does a lot around hypnobirthing and supporting the birthing partners and the whole childbearing continuum. So I'm super excited for her to be here to talk to you guys today. Her two topics she wants to talk about are how the birth partner can really support the birther through the process and how to best keep them involved. And she also wants to talk to you about her top 4 tips for just coping and managing with all the stress that we're going through these days. So, hi, Katy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So go ahead and start with, I want to hear one of those tips. So what are your top tips?
Yeah, thanks. All my doula clients right now, all my hypnobirthing clients, everyone I know right now is kind of struggling with how to stay calm through the face of all of this uncertainty, with the extra stress and tension, especially in the birth world, especially at a hospital. And so I just have come up with kind of the top 4 things without having to take on all of like the overwhelming things that you could do. Like I could talk about all the things you could do for days, but I just was like, let's make it concise into, 4 things that you can do to keep yourself calm. And one way that I envisioned using this was like, okay, you're walking into the hospital,
Mm,
and what can
mhm.
you do to like help yourself stay calm while you see everyone in masks and while you know that you maybe have to get a COVID test, or
Mhm.
these things that can feel a little intense and fearful and cause like deep triggers for you to react. So the 4 I came up with were breathe. Oftentimes when we're in a place of stress, it's easy to forget our breath, and so
Mhm.
your brain really responds well to a safe, calm breath. If you're breathing calmly and relaxed, your whole body will follow suit. So just breathe. The next one is relax your face and your shoulders. So your face really sets, I know, right? Also, you're like, oh. Your face sets the tone for the rest of your body. So
Yeah.
if you can make sure that your face is relaxed and even maybe smiling,
Mhm.
if you're in a mask, like remembering your eyes, just keeping that space. And when you're in labor, obviously, you're doing what you do to
Right.
just cope. But it's one tip I give my clients even in labor is just keeping your face muscles as relaxed as you
Mhm.
can and keeping your shoulders relaxed away from your ears.
Mhm.
Um, the next one is finding some kind of mantra or affirmation that you can repeat to yourself over and over again. Whether it's, I am safe, I am empowered, I'm confident, anything that gets you through that door that's kind of like a shield and a barrier
Yeah.
to keep yourself calm.
I'm
Um,
going to interrupt you for a second. Do you feel
yeah,
like you would pick 1 or 2 or 5? How many affirmations or mantras would you go for?
I mean, especially when in labor, one is really good. Your frontal lobe is not doing a lot of work when you're in labor, so
Mhm.
trying to remember a bunch of mantras might be difficult.
Right.
But if you can have just one that is top of mind, that your partner also knows that you could is your safe place that your brain will
Right.
always go back to, it can be really beneficial. If you want to make more, like by all means, and then your brain will probably just grasp onto one that helps you in that moment,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, and then the last bullet point or tip is kind of, it's broad and it takes a lot of extra effort on your end, but it's education. So
Mhm.
the more that a birthing person and their partner can feel educated before they walk into any birthing space, the better they're going to feel, the calmer they're going to feel, the safer they're going to feel.
Right.
So, like, I highly recommend taking some kind of birth class, and just going into it really, really prepared, educated, knowledgeable, and
Mhm.
that just makes you feel powerful. Like once you have that information, it's easier to walk into a space and feel,
Mhm.
like oh, we were told about this thing, and here's like ways that we can address it or alternatives we can ask for,
Mhm.
things like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it's breath, facial and shoulder relaxation, a mantra or affirmation, and education.
I really like that. I
Yeah.
often hear from people that are trying to hire me, like, well, we're not really sure we need to go through a childbirth education class because, I mean, our providers have it. Like, we trust them, you know? And I want to be like, but you don't know what you don't know. And
Yes.
until you understand what you didn't know, you don't even understand why it's important. So I love that you put it as your top 4, that's in there.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge, and of course, like there's the provider trust that is, it's a little different because that's their experience. And
Hmm.
my thing with education is I want it to be your experience. And while their job is to keep you safe, it's not necessarily to hold space for your experience. And
Right.
so like that's why I in my hypnobirthing classes, I spend a lot of time on like that, um, the the physiological side of things, so you can know what's happening in your body as things go, and also like the emotional, mental, intuitive, instinctual side of it that sometimes isn't touched on as much in like the more, you know, mainstream birthing classes. So yeah, I think education is a huge piece. You know, I think just like anything, if you walk into it with more knowledge, you're going to feel a lot more prepared and safe.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So go ahead and touch on birth partners then. So obviously birth partners are also feeling anxious and crazy and can't cope necessarily when they walk into a birthing space or into hospital during COVID or whatever it is. And now they have to take care of their loved one in labor. So, and they have to do it all on their own most of the time because we're not there to help. So go ahead and just give some tips and ideas and ways that birth partners can really make an impact without feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, you're right. It's tough when our whole role is to both support the birthing person, but more than that, to like encourage and empower the partner to support the birthing person, right? So it's tough that they're having to hold all of that, and at the same time, there's some beauty in it, right? They're having like able to like create this bond of just them. And I've been doing virtual support this whole time. I know a lot of doulas have been, and I think that's a great way to do it because then they get like the physical closeness bond, and then I can help guide the ship as needed. It's really helpful. But so yeah, some tips I have for birthing partners at all times, but a lot of these are focused a little bit more on now where they are the main support person. The first thing I think the birth partner needs to do is just realize that they just need to hold space, which I know that term is kind of trendy, and but like holding space just means you are just allowing yourself to be there, to be emotionally present, to be engaged, to support. And the next one goes into the types of support. Yeah. So the first one is physical support, right? So there's the things that you may learn in classes like, you know, hip squeezes, back pressure, you know, light touch massage, and foot massages, any of those things. Those are wonderful tools. Holding her actual body, you know, there's positions where you can be, she's hanging on your shoulders or, you know, leaning on your legs, all sorts of physical support like that. But it also includes making sure she goes to the bathroom, making sure she's drinking water and eating when she can, and just offering constant reminders to her that she needs to support her physical body. And then also partners remembering to support your own physical body. I see it way more than I would like to admit that partners will forget to eat or forget that they need to go to the bathroom, or that sometimes birth can be very intense. It's emotionally taxing. And so just taking time to walk out of the space, take a deep breath, reset yourself, and come back in energized can be really great and helpful.
I think that's the hardest thing I struggle with virtual doulaing is being able to be mindful to when the partner is exhausted and needs to step out. So definitely reminding partner that be mindful of where you are and where you're.
I try at virtual births, I try to check in with the nurses early on so that we can have a moment if we see partner needs a break, that the nurse makes sure that they step in fully and become present with the mom so dad can step away.
I like that.
And that's been really helpful just to like team up in that way. It's been really beautiful to watch the nurses step up like above and beyond through this. I mean, they are now holding more and having to work in this high risk environment, and they are doulas and they are partners and there are so many things. So shout out to all those amazing LED nurses.
Definitely.
So yeah, make sure partners, you take care of yourself. You cannot help her and be present and fully supportive of her if you're not okay. You know, we shout that to moms all the time, right? Like, you can't take care of your kids if you're not taken care of. So same for you partners in birth. You can't take care of her if you're not taken care of. And also, when you eat, don't eat around her.
I always put that in there. Like, take care of you, but do it off to the side.
Maybe in the bathroom or outside in the hall, because any of those smells might not go great for her. So, the next reminder for partners is now, you know, if you don't have a doula, or even if you never plan on having a doula, one of your roles is to advocate for your birthing partner. So it's hard because, again, frontal lobe, not so much on when you're in labor. And so critical decision making can be a little tough. They are in their instinctual body. And when it comes to, you know, maybe something is offered like an intervention or a choice or an option that they might want to think about, they may not be able to. So partners, this is where it's really good for you to know the vision that they have for their birth, to know their birth plan, to have a good way of communicating that maybe isn't verbal, to understand their wishes, and then really advocate, push back, ask questions. You know, you want the birthing person and yourself to feel like really confident about the decisions you make, so you can walk away from it feeling like totally powerful and strong in your choices. And then the last one, the last little point I wanted to talk about was witnessing. So this is a hard one because I think a lot of birthing partners want to do something, right? They want a job, they want help, they want to fix. And I found this great quote by Justin Baldini that said, and it is pretty gendered, you know, it was from a man to men, but I think it's still applicable. As men, we so often think it's our job to save or fix. But in birth, there is no saving or fixing. There's only love, support, and witnessing the power and strength of your partner. So just remind yourself, like, you can't fix it, you can't solve it, you can, you know, you can support, hold space, and witness her and all of their power. And so just that might be the hardest thing. It's hard for doulas even. I mean, it's hard to sit back and watch someone who is struggling or really going through the work, and not want to just take it from them or solve it.
Right.
So just reminding yourself that it's okay to sit and witness. And I think oftentimes that's when the birthing person feels the most supported, because you weren't trying to do anything, you're just there witnessing. And then after it's all over, you can be like, oh my God, that was so cool. I watched you do all these amazing, powerful things.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I feel like in a way, witnessing is how you are solving the problem, how you are fixing it, right? Because
and I think when you're witnessing, you're not panicking. You're not, you know, trying to call on a doctor to fix this thing or call a midwife to do that. You are just letting it be. And oftentimes that's what birth needs more than anything, is just to let it be and witness. And there's a line between like over observing and witnessing. So
yes,
birthing people struggle when they feel like they're being watched hard, right? So it's more of, you can absolutely watch them, but like not like a we want it to be just you're there, you're able to, you know, if they do ask for something, you're able to accommodate it. And oftentimes when you're just witnessing, you can see something that you may not otherwise have seen. Like, oh, they keep pushing on their hip. Maybe I can be the one to do that. Or they're really struggling laying on their back. Maybe we can try this other position. So the witnessing can actually help you solve, maybe. And it might not, you know, they might not need anything. So I think it's just a good reminder that anyone in the birthing room, anyone, our job is not to do anything unless it's emergent, right? We just need to be witnessing and watching and holding space for the birthing person.
Yep. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Really quick, do you want to just give a plug to who you are and your business?
Yeah, so I own Peaceful Mama Birthing. So I teach hypnobirthing classes, and I offer full spectrum doula support. And the classes right now are virtual. I'm keeping them virtual through the summer as of now. And they fill up pretty quick. So I usually recommend people get in like 25 to 32 weeks gestation. And then I also just founded a nonprofit here in town with the wonderful Justina Nazario Johnson. It's called the Inclusive Birth Collective. And so I'm so excited about it. And the goal of the Inclusive Birth Collective is it's kind of got three missions. One is to create a circle of birth workers that have been vetted and interviewed and applied for a membership in the Inclusive Birth Collective. And it kind of ensures the public, the community, that these people have gone out of their way to do inclusion training, diversity training, to make sure that they're offering their services to every member of our community, no matter their race, gender, sexual identity, income level, any of that. So that's one part of it. Another part is we have a low-income assistance fund to offer birth support and a lot of birth resources to low-income members of our community. And then we also have a business partner program where local businesses can apply and show that they're interested in making their business more inclusive to the community as well. So it's a really exciting new project that I'm working on. So so you can follow Peaceful Mama on Instagram and Facebook, and you can follow Inclusive Birth Collective there too. So lots of fun things there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with me today, Katy.
Yeah,
And
thanks for having me. I
yeah,
love the Essentials Retreat. I so enjoyed it. Was that just last year?
yeah,
Was it? Oh
I
my
know.
gosh. It's funny because I met one of my favorite clients at the retreat
Mhm.
and witnessed one of the most beautiful births from that
Oh,
retreat. That's like safe,
that's
a
awesome.
special place in my heart.
Yeah.
Um, and then I know this year's virtual, but I'm so excited for the support we'll still be able to
Yeah.
give to the community. So thank you for offering this out.
Yeah. I can't wait
Special.
until next year. Hopefully it'll not be virtual again.
Yeah.
But I know. But yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and I so appreciate everything that you do and all that you stand for and how you lift this community up. And thank you for your tips, and this was wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you, Trina.
Yeah.